Good morning, students. I hope all of you have seen the video which I had shared yesterday with respect to the tracing of the ray of light when it travels from air to glass. We have studied refraction of light in different media. We know what happens when a ray of light travels from rarer to the denser medium. That is, it bends towards the normal. When a ray of light travels from denser to the rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. And the third one, that is when a ray of light is perpendicular to the interface, or when a ray of light is incident normally at the boundary between the two media, it does not change its direction and hence it does not get refracted. So this is what we have studied. Today we are studying absolute refractive index. As given on your screen, if the first medium is vacuum, then refractive index of second medium is called absolute refractive index and it is written as N. The formula will be N, that is absolute refractive index, is equal to velocity of light in vacuum, which is our first medium, divided by velocity of light in second medium. This medium can be air, ice, water, alcohol, kerosene, etc. So if you have your first medium to be vacuum, then the refractive index of the second medium is called absolute refractive index. For example, that of air will be 1.0003, ice 1.31, etc. So this is what is referred to as absolute refractive index. The absolute refractive indices of some media have been given on page number 75 of your textbook. So you can go through the values. You are not supposed to learn them, but you must read the box which is given. You will find that the value of refractive index goes on increasing. So as the medium becomes denser, we know that the refractive index value also increases. Today we are going to study Mirage. Mirage is a naturally occurring optical phenomenon in which light rays bend to produce displaced image of distant objects. So here we find that it's a natural phenomenon in which the light rays bend and they produce displaced image of distant objects. This phenomena is related to refraction of light, and now we are studying the examples of refraction of light from our everyday life. Out of these examples, the very first one is mirage. Now, mirage is an optical illusion which takes place where we find that the light rays are bent and they are bent on the account of refraction of light and they produce displaced image of the distant objects. Let us try to understand it with some examples from our everyday life. The very first example is of a mirage that we see in summers on the hot tar roads. So when we are going by the road in summers, we find as if at a few meters distance there is water, like you can see in this picture. It appears as if there is water or oil at this particular spot, but when you reach that spot, you find that there is nothing except the tar road. So it is an illusion of appearance of water on a hot tar road. Secondly, even in deserts, people have this illusion of water at a certain distance. They even see the image of a tree in the water, but when they reach the spot, they find nothing except desert. Similarly, during Holi, we light the fire and we try to see the things across the fire or objects that are beyond and above the fire. So we find as if these objects are shaking, or we say flickering. So all these examples are of refraction of light. One more example I would like to share. Mirage in Hindi is called as Mrig Marichika. And this Mrig Marichika is seen in forests. We all visit the various forests and we go for the safaris and we enjoy the wildlife. Most of the places there are no tar roads, but at some places now we find that there are tar roads which are made even in forests. Sometimes a deer comes on one such tar road, and during summers it also sees this mirage. It appears to it as if there is water at certain distance, and it runs to that spot, but it finds nothing. Then again, on seeing a few meters distance, it feels as if there is water again. It again runs to that spot but doesn't find any water. The poor deer continues to run in the hot summer for water, which is nothing but an illusion, and finally it dies. So in this way we are harming our own wildlife and our environment, and we should try to protect it and not build tar roads in forests. So these are a few examples of mirage, which are an optical illusion on account of the bending of the rays of light, and they produce the displaced image of distant objects. Let us try and see some more examples, and then we will study the reason behind this phenomenon. Here we have one more example of a mirage in desert. Here we can see 4 camels. We can see a person walking here, and 4 people are sitting on the camel. Now, if a person is observing this from a distance, he would feel as if there is some water body here, and he can see the reflections of the persons and the camels over here. Just as one would see the reflections in water, same kind of an illusion is created here also. But when the person would come and closer and see, he would find nothing but sand. So this is one more example of mirage in a desert, where you can actually see some water body and you can even see the reflections of the objects. But when you come closer, you find nothing except sand. Here one more example of mirage in a desert. This is an example of desert mirage in Cape Verde of the coast of Africa. Now it's a desert, but as you can see, it feels as if there is some water here. So it's an illusion of presence of some water body here. But when you go closer, you find that there is nothing except sand, and there is only desert everywhere. So this is one more example of mirage in a desert.